right, everyone. We're going to try and go through some staging really quickly. We'll start with beans. So beans are actually quite easy because all you have to worry about is counting nodes, and then you move on to counting flowers and looking at the seeds. So the V stages involve counting the nodes and and then the R stages will involve looking at the flowers and then cracking open the pods, looking at the seeds. So when you're looking at the nodes, for example on this plant here, first node would be here, so you'd have 1, then your next node would be right here, 2, 3, and 4. So you'd have 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be a V4 plant. Now when you look at something like this, because there are no flowers open on it yet, you would still be counting the nodes. So again, for something like this, you would have 1 node, 2 nodes, 3 nodes, 4 nodes, 5 nodes. Okay, so this one would be a V5 plant. Now, when you're looking at these flowers, as soon as you see one of these flowers open, then you move into the R stages and you start looking at, again, the flowers and the fruits. Now, when it comes to something like canola, you're going to have different growth stages. Again, you're going to be looking at either the leaves, the buds, the flowers, or the fruit. So when you're looking at leaves, you're going to be doing a leaf count. This one, the flowers are already out, so we're going to pretend that those aren't there, but you're doing a leaf count. So you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then your 5th leaf has to be half the size of the one before it. So we'd probably call that a 6 leaf. So this would be a 6 leaf canola plant. Now, because the buds are visible in the center of it, the buds are visible right there, you wouldn't have to be counting leaves anymore. You only count leaves until you start to see the buds in the center of the flower. So as soon as you see the buds in there, then you start looking at those, and you're going to be looking at the color and the positioning. So this one, they're still quite tucked inside, so you would call those buds visible but not elongated. And then if you had something like this where it's starting to bolt here, then you would move into buds starting to elongate. They're still green, so you would look at that. If they start to turn yellow, you would be into the next stage. And then once the first flower comes out, you're into the flowering stage. And then you're looking at whether the flowering is beginning or not, whether the pods are starting to elongate. And then once the pods are starting to fill, then you will be cracking open the pods and looking at the seeds. Now, cereal staging is a little bit trickier. So we'll go through some of the important parts, I guess, when you're dealing with cereals. So this pot has 3 plants in it, 1, 2, and 3. So the first thing you would have to do is find your 1 plant. Easiest thing to do is first off find out where leaf 1 is. Now you can always tell leaf 1 because it's going to have a rounded tip on it. So that's your rounded tip versus another leaf that's not leaf 1, which would have a pointed tip on it. Okay? So when you're looking at something like this, you're going to be counting leaves and tillers on it until you start to feel a node in the center of the plant. So when you get to something like this that has a lot of leaves and tillers happening on it, I always check for the node first. So check right at the bottom of the plant. If you can't feel a little ball in the center of that, the first node is not detectable, so you are in fact going to have to count leaves. So again, leaf 1 would be here, and what I do is I usually go up to the top of the plant, find the tallest leaf, and that's going to be coming off of your main stem. So then we know that this guy right here is our main stem. Okay, so that's our main stem there, and we know leaf 1 is over here, so we would have leaf 1, tiller 1, and your main stem here. Then you would have leaf 2 over here, and then you'd have tiller 2, which is going to have a secondary tiller coming off of it. So there's 2 tillers grouping together there. Then you would have leaf 3 here, tiller 3, leaf 4, and leaf 5 up here. Okay? So again, tiller and leaf count, a little bit trickier. You can try a different one here. This one's a little bit smaller. Get those guys out of the way. Here, so if we look at this guy, this one here, again, leaf 1 right here. So we're going to put that on the left side of the plant. Find the tallest leaf. So that's going to be your main stem, is going to be here. So you would have leaf 1 being here, leaf 2 over here, tiller 2, and then your main stem would be here. So you have leaf 3, so this would be tiller 3 over here, leaf 4, leaf 5, and leaf 6. Okay. Again, this is going to be really confusing because I'm trying to video it and show you at the same time. But again, just keep in mind, leaf 1 always has that rounded tip to it. Finding the main stem by picking out the tallest leaf, and then looking at your tillers. And remember, your tillers always come out between a leaf and the stem. So, counting leaves and tillers. When you're counting leaves and tillers and staging them in Zadocs, you have to say both. So leaf count would have a 1 in front of it. So if there's 4 leaves, you would have Zadocs 14. And then tillers, if there was 2 tillers, you would have a 22. But you have to write both of those numbers. And then as soon as you start to feel a node in the plant, so something like this one here, it's a little bit bigger. So again, find your plant. So there's 2 plants in here again. So look for your main stem and then start to feel your nodes. Okay, and this one's quite a bit bigger, so I can feel a big one right there. I can feel another one right there. 3 nodes. So this one's got at least 3 nodes in it. So it's definitely into the next stage. We might even be able to see it with the camera here. So yeah, here's 1 node right there. Okay, so you can see that guy there. It's kind of big and bulbous. That's 1 node. So again, when you're counting leaves and tillers and the plant looks like it's getting too wily, always try and feel for those nodes. You can see there's another big one at the bottom here. So 1 node, 2 nodes, and then node 3 is right here. But you can't really see it very well. But there's 3 nodes in that one. And then once you're counting nodes, what you want to look for is that flag leaf. So once the flag leaf is visible, then you're getting into a different stage. So again, the flag leaf is going to be the topmost leaf on a plant. It's going to be the last one before the head comes out. So you can see the awns are already visible in this one. So that's going to be a different stage in your Zadocs. So the awns are visible, you have your flag leaf, and then this one here, the second tallest or the second last leaf, is going to be your penultimate leaf. And in between the flag leaf and that penultimate leaf is your boot. So this is your boot here, okay? And again, because this one has the awn sticking through there, that's going to be an important stage number. So you can feel in here, that's where the head is. Head's right down there. But anyways, penultimate leaf, flag leaf, awns are visible, and then you move into the booting stage once you start to see the heads emerging. So you can see the heads are starting to pop out. Again, flag leaf at the top, penultimate leaf right here, boot is in between. There are all your awns popping out at the top. This is barley, so it's got quite big awns on it. And then there is your head emerging out of that boot. And then once the head comes out of the boot, then you move into looking at the anthers for anthesis. Anthers white usually means anthesis is just starting. Anthers yellow means it's actively happening. Anthers that are kind of shriveled up and dry are going to mean it's finished. And then you start moving into the looking at the kernel stage. So the kernel stages, you can have watery ripe, which means it's going to be a clear liquid that's going to come out. You can have milk stage, which means that there's going to be a white liquid coming out that looks like milk. Or you can have the dough stage, which means that you're going to have kind of the thick white substance, which means that it looks like dough, I guess, and then hard dough, kernel ripe, etc. So that all those stages you have to be looking at the kernels. Yeah, so it's kind of staging in a nutshell.